back, listeners, to another edition of Matt Goes to the Movies. Comic book month continues here at Matt Goes to the Movies, and this next one is a doozy. A movie that almost killed the franchise. Batman and Robin. And once again, I'm going to be joined by Rob to help me break this thing down. But Rob, you know, there's an old saying that time heals all wounds. And when this movie first came out, let me tell you, there were some wounds for me, but it has been an incredibly long time since Batman and Robin was first released to the public, to critical dismay and terrible box office returns. But is it as bad as we remember, or has it become something bigger than being a bad movie? So, Rob, welcome back.
Thank you. It's funny you say we're going to break this thing down. This thing's pretty broken. So, trying to break that down. It's funny. So we just got done watching Daredevil the other day, and that's a movie that tried to be good, but failed on every single level that you could possibly fail on. I don't know that this movie ever actually tried to be good. Like I think it kind of, at some point they just said, hey, you know how movies are usually good, right? Like, what if we didn't make it that way? And they just kind of went, okay, go with it, you crazy bastard. And this is kind of what we got. And I think what's interesting is, so ever since The Dark Knight Returns, Batman has taken, which was a seminal graphic novel, it's been around for a while. That's really where we see a very definite turn in the presentation of the character of Batman. That's when he becomes the Dark Knight. That's when, he gets a little bit darker. That's when he kind of switches from the blue to the black look. And that's when the stories become more mature. Batman is kind of flexible in how you can tell stories with him. You can tell detective stories. You can tell supernatural stories. He doesn't really get into magic, but you can lean into campiness the way that the television series from the 1960s did. And that's kind of where this movie tries to go. It tries to lean into the camp, and to some extent is actually kind of successful in that. It just might not be what we want out of a Batman movie. It doesn't take itself very seriously at all. And the times where it seems like maybe it's taking it seriously, it's laugh out loud funny. I don't know. I watched this again today, and I just don't know how they filmed this with a straight face.
Yeah, this movie was fast-tracked almost immediately. Batman Forever came out and was very successful. And this got fast-tracked just almost right off the bat. But there's a lot of interesting things behind the scenes with this movie. I have watched almost every interview, special feature that you can find on this movie, and some of it's really fascinating, which we'll talk about, later on in the review and breaking stuff down. But with that being said, Rob, I want to get into this thing and break this down. So we're going to go ahead with the first segment here called Watch Rating. Watch Rating broken down into 3 segments. How rewatchable is this movie? And a quick little spoiler-free review of what we think of this movie. So, Rob, I'm going to go first here, and here's maybe the first hot take of this review for me. This is a high. This movie is so bad. I'm in love with Batman and Robin. I'm gonna get that out of the way right now. This is the equivalent of having to rock the vending machine back and forth 20 times to get your Skittles that got stuck. It took a really long time for me to appreciate it, but God, do I love everything about this movie. From the crappy sound effects to the terrible introduction of a character that is one of Batman's most clever and feared villains, to the over sexualization of Poison Ivy in certain scenes, everything about to the weird obsession with man ass and nipples in this movie. Everything about this is a joy. And it took a lot of years and a lot of rewatches, because when this first came out, I remember just being like, that's it. You've done it. You have killed Batman. Like, and I was young when this first came out, but even then I could realize, like, this is, what have you done? Now, there's a lot of interesting stuff, like I said, behind that. But going through the years, rewatching this movie and just accepting that literally I am it's like, I don't even know how to describe the realization that I had. It's like watching a crazy ex throw your clothes out into the front yard and burning them and just being like, well, I guess I needed new clothes anyway. Like, that's I love the chaos. I have embraced it with this movie. I will rewatch this movie on my own accord just to sit there and go, God, it's terrible, and I love it. I absolutely love this movie.
This is one of those things where it's kind of like fast food. You put it in your body, you shouldn't. You enjoy it, even though it's actually killing you a little bit every time. I'm going to give this a medium watch rating, which actually kind of surprises me a little bit. I watched this without any kind of alcoholic beverages in front of me. I could actually see getting, half in the bag and watching this and just laughing hysterically. It's not great. Like, it's, again, like I said, I'm not convinced anybody ever tried to actually make a good movie when they sat down to write this, plan it, shoot it, edit it. Like, I really don't think they tried to make a good movie, and they succeeded at not making a good movie.
Nobody even looks like they remember. Nobody even looks like they read the script. Nobody looks like they want to be a part of this.
No, and the scenes with Chris O'Donnell and Clooney, they don't look like they like each other. Like, it seems to me, and I'd be curious if this is in any of the behind the scenes stuff that you watched the videos on. They look like they hate each other the entire time they're on camera together. I mean, it seems awkward to watch. But then you see Chris O'Donnell with Alicia Silverstone, and every single scene they're in is terrible, and it's awful, and it's like laughably bad. Like, how did anybody film this and go, yeah, we got enough takes on that'll work, and just kind of moved on? I thought I was going to write down a list of the cheesiest freeze lines that are about cold or winter or snow or ice or any of it. I thought I was going to do that. Or I thought I could just maybe look them up later and just kind of go, oh yeah, here's the top 3 worst ones. There's like 75 of them. I can't, I gave up doing it.
You would need one of those those old black and white composition notebooks. You need 100 sheets of paper for this thing. Yeah.
Every single one of his lines is an ice pun, and it's terrible. Like, think of the daddest dad joke you could ever imagine, and they're worse than that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. So, it's funny because we'll move forward here in a second, but you can see there's just like these long awkward moments too where the actors are on screen and it's just like, all right, like, cut, can we be done here? Like, what's going on? Like, there is really, for a big budget picture, there's really weird editing in this movie sometimes.
And I'm pretty sure, am I right about this, that Clooney in the last several years has apologized for this movie? Like,
oh, yeah,
I'm right about that, aren't I?
Yeah, no, he apologizes every single chance he gets for ruining Batman. Like, it is public knowledge. He'll openly talk about how terrible it is. Like, he he pulls no punches anymore about this movie and what it did and what people think of it, which is refreshing. Like, he's a good sport about it now. Like, he takes it in stride and just says, yeah, it sucks. People don't like it. I'm really sorry. Like, even Joel Schumacher, before he passed, actually went on record and said, if I offended anybody with Batman and Robin and like made you hate the character, I'm really sorry, because that's not what I set out to do. And if I did, I'm truly sorry to anybody that I offended. So you won't find like one cast member that like publicly says anything good about this movie. They openly say like, yeah, sorry. There's just it's even in the special features. If you own the Batman collection box set, the interviews on the Blu-ray actually even have the actors talking about how crazy this experience was. So, which is odd.
Unique.
Yeah, you wouldn't think a studio would be like, hey, here's special features of people bashing this movie.
The movie that you're actually watching, that you parted with your hard-earned money to purchase, we're going to just go ahead and tell you why it sucks.
Yeah, no, which is, again, it's refreshing. It's a lot of fun.
Well, I'll tell you what is kind of disappointing about that, too, is when you look at Clooney in this movie, as Bruce Wayne, he's very good. Very believable as Bruce Wayne. The scenes that he's in, where he is Bruce, I really actually like. But there's just so much that they're trying to do with this, that nothing that could have been any good. There's just too many characters being introduced, too much happening. It's like I think they dropped acid when they were coming up with the concept for this, because that's the only thing that makes any sense to me.
Well, I swear to God, I literally think they found a way to transfer acid through the television screen and through the movie theater, because they want you to think you're on acid during this thing with the colors and everything. Like, it's literally like the audience is trying to have a trip when you're watching this thing.
And it's a bad trip.
Right. Yeah, exactly. But, oh man. All right. So, listeners, oh man, I can't contain my excitement for this. If you have not seen Batman and Robin, I'm going to tell you, go out and do it. Like, literally, you need to see this movie. If you have HBO Max, turn it on, watch it. I don't know, grab a couple of buddies, have a drinking game for every time Mr. Freeze uses an ice pun. Probably
no, don't do that. You'll get alcohol poisoning.
I was gonna say have a DD there so that someone can call an ambulance and transport all you guys, because like you'll probably develop alcohol poisoning from doing a drinking game with this thing. But it's on HBO Max. You can check it out if you have a subscription. I highly recommend doing it because I find it a blast. But if for some reason you don't want to be spoiled by Batman and Robin, don't listen until you watch this movie, because
I legitimately think that you should watch. If you've not seen this movie, you should watch it once. At the very least, just
absolutely.
Watch it once, because it is such the way that people talk about this movie and the place it represents in pop culture. If you're the kind of person that listens to this show regularly, you're the kind of person that loves to engage in pop culture. And if you've somehow not seen this yet, because it is terrible and it's not, normally you wouldn't go out of your way to watch something that's been reviewed this poorly. You should watch this movie once, just for the experience.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that being said, we're going to move into popcorn time. Full spoilers ahead. We're going to break this thing down, talk about the plot, talk about the main characters.
Wait, is there a plot? There's a plot?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a plot. We want to turn things back to the Ice Age and somehow have plants growing on cold surfaces and, Batman credit cards and disco ball Batmobiles. There's plot galore in this thing. I'm telling you, man. Which, like, the funny thing right off the bat with this movie, if you were old enough to understand how things like this worked back then, this movie, honest, like they don't care about Batman because Batman doesn't even get top billing in this movie. When this movie first starts, Arnold Schwarzenegger is the main attraction of this movie. His name gets credit before the guy who's playing the lead character in the title. So they don't care about Batman. They don't want you to root for him. They don't want you to enjoy him. But boy, they want you to know right off the bat that this is almost like this is a sequel to the Adam West Batman. Like forget
Yeah.
forget Batman, forget Batman Returns. Like the only real the connection to Batman Forever is that Batman and Robin are still working together. They're a full-fledged team now. But you could almost count this as an Adam West sequel, and I know people that actually like way back when said, well, if you just look at it this way, it's enjoyable because it's crazy. It starts off with the disco ball Batmobile that they had to change. And Rob, that's one of the things I'll talk about really quick is it is like public knowledge. And again, this is in the special features and everything like that. They had to send in designs from the movie studio to the toy company before they were allowed to actually put them in the movie. This movie was strictly designed to sell toys because any design that they had to go to the marketing campaign and see if the company wanted to make a toy out of it. And if they didn't think they could, the design got scratched and they had to redo it.
It shows.
So,
it shows in so many ways, especially when you get to the end of the movie and the three heroes have a costume change for absolutely no reason at all whatsoever, except marketing.
We got to get over there and stop Freeze right now. But quick, let's go back to the Batcave. Let's change into our new suits and let's get our new gadgets. And then we're going to go out and do it. We got
let's get a new one for this partner that we didn't know we had 45 seconds ago.
Right.
But somehow we have a Batgirl suit that fits her perfectly just with silver on it now.
Right. Well, Alfred Jarvis, anticipated this girl who he hasn't seen in a decade coming back.
And he knew her measurements.
Right. Finding the Batcave. He's been keeping up. He's been having guys over at whatever university date her and get her measurements for him, the creep. Like, what are you doing? Like,
he knew that she would know how to swing on bat lines and she would know kung fu and not literally get killed in the first 30 seconds in the field. Like,
yeah, it's unbelievable. So
man, and we have so much more to get to before that moment of the movie.
So you start off the movie, you get you get Schumacher's. So he has talked about why the suits are designed this way. He has this obsession with like Greek statues and, naturally formed human bodies. So he's talked about why he put nipples on the bat suit, why he, just the sculpting of the suits and everything. But, you get the suit up montage and them pulling the suit, which again, it's a rubber suit, and the way that like they pull up the pants, it's just weird. Like it's so weird, how these outfits go on. Again, still like every Batman until they addressed it in Christian Bale's series, he has to turn his entire body to talk. You would think this billionaire who has all of these gadgets would think, boy, maybe it would be easier if I could move my neck and not have to turn my whole body. But
yeah. There's this weird fixation right in that opening montage where the camera is like tilted like 45 degrees, focused right on the cod piece, right on the bat butt and the bat nipples right out of the gate. Like you can't avoid it. Like this is how the movie starts. And I'm going, oh, buckle up. It's going to be a long 2 hours.
Well, they even, the one thing I'll, again, give Schumacher credit. He doesn't just focus on the females. Like you want ass, you're going to get ass. You're going to
lots of it. Way more than you asked for.
But after the opening montage of them suiting up and, the close up of the cod piece, the close up of their ass, like as the Batmobile is coming up, the camera pans up again to show, like, I don't know, maybe he's like, I don't know what he was doing, but it focuses on that area so much after it's already been established. Again, I don't know if it's supposed to be humor. Oh, I want a car. Chicks dig the car. Like, actually, like, no, because back then, like, the joke, and not even the joke, but like the whole thing was like chicks dig motorcycles and things like that, and like it's just there. And then they name drop Superman. Like, okay, like whatever. Like that was ever going to happen back then.
No.
But you get the campy moment in the beginning, and then you get the shot of Alfred. You know, Obviously he's sick, and we'll get into much later of course he has the same disease as somebody else in the movie. It just, of course that would happen. It's the rarest of all diseases according to this movie. It's so rare that nobody gets it except for these
two people in the same city.
Right. Right, in the same in the same city. Like, all right, whatever. But can
we kind of go back to the bike for just a second? Because
oh, yeah, absolutely.
What I love is when, so the car comes up, okay, he gets in and he takes off. The bike comes up, and then when it unfolds, it's got this big elaborate like shell that unfolds. And on the inside of it, it's like bright red neon with his Robin logo. Like, what? Why did you take the time to do that? Like, who is that for? Like, why is that? Like, why do you need the red neon logo inside the shell that you like? Who's going to see that? Why did you do that?
It's for toys. Or these guys both have, I don't know, they have memory loss. So it's like, oh, right. Yeah, that's my bike. Like, I totally forgot.
It's like, do you just, in case you come back hammered and can't remember which bike is for which guy? Like, what is that for?
Yeah. You get to, so Alfred, the same guy for all four movies for Batman, and I actually like him. And I think one of the things you mentioned it with Clooney, I think one of the things that actually works in here, besides the ridiculousness of him having McGregor syndrome, is what the disease is called. I actually like some of the dialogue, especially towards the end when Bruce kind of doesn't know, like, if he's going to save Alfred, or if he's just going to die. I actually really like that. Like, that actually is a rare moment of actual seriousness in this movie that actually like hits. Like, I do feel bad in that moment as a character for Bruce, that he thinks he's going to lose this person that has been with him throughout his entire life, has stuck by him when, because most people would be like, hey, I want to dress up like a giant bat and fight criminals. Well, you're going to be locked up in a padded room. Like, somebody would turn you in for that. Like, but, has been with him his entire life. Like, I actually thought that actually worked. I really did like that dialogue where he's talking to Alfred. And he asked him at one point too, like, are you happy here, Alfred? Like, it shows a side of Bruce that you didn't normally get. Like, even in comics and some of the video games, you never really got that sense of, what does Bruce think? Like, does Bruce think Alfred is happy with his life? I actually really like that. I'll just leave it at that point.
One of the things that I find really interesting in all the different forms of entertainment you can find Batman stories in is the portrayal of the relationship between Bruce and Alfred. And sometimes, and it's even done differently in the comics, they portray it a variety of different ways. Sometimes Alfred is the loving father figure, and you see him many times referring to Bruce as his son. He, thinks of him in that way. There's times where Alfred is portrayed as somebody who just wishes that, and this is really more like the Nolan trilogy. He wants Bruce to kind of stop the crime fighting and settle down. And part of that is out of love, because he doesn't want to see him get killed. He wants him to be happy and find a wife, like that sort of thing. And then in the Snyder films, he's more of like Q Branch. He's the man in the chair that's helping him, work his gadgets and things like that. I've always found that the way they portray that relationship very interesting, and I have liked this portrayal of Alfred all the way through. It's kind of a little bit of all of it. It's the little bit of the father figure. It's a little bit of the caring friend. It's a little bit of the man in the chair, so to speak. But you always get the impression that he loves Bruce and does look at him as a surrogate son, and I think that relationship does work.
Yeah, and again, disregarding the ridiculousness of the disease, um, it does work. I like that relationship, but before you get into all that, we get the introduction of Mr. Freeze, and just if there's one guy I think in this movie who said, you know what, the script is terrible, the shooting has been like, I'm gonna ham it up. It's Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he actually looks like he might actually be the only person that's having a good time on set, because
Yeah.
I also like too when they're driving to the museum. Commissioner Gordon, who again is reprised by the same actor, I can't remember his name, says he's freezing the people on ice, and he's calling himself Mr. Freeze. So, like, so he so he broke into the museum, started freezing people, and then let one guy go and was like, yo, go tell the news crew I'm Mr. Freeze, hurry up, get out there. like how does anybody know he's called Mr. Freeze? Like, because they say he's calling himself Mr. Freeze. So is he giving, before he's hitting people with his freeze gun and giving freeze puns, is he like, I'm Mr. Freeze, boom? Like, I don't like it's unbelievable. It's unbelievable.
Because he's a new villain on the scene, but somehow that new villain has had time to build a lair, get all of these freeze guns and freeze technology, and not just acquire a gang, but acquire a gang with matching outfits who have a coordinated fighting style that relies on hockey sticks and ice skates, which relies on freezing the entire place. So they would have to have time to train and actually work all this stuff out so it would be effective in the field.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. He's, in the span of, I don't know, he must have used Indeed or something to get all these guys, because they came out of the woodwork to be a part of this. Like, who would sign up for this gang, especially when they see that hideout?
I mean, do you just cruise LinkedIn looking for like henchmen as like skills like that you get like recommended for? Like, can you recommend somebody for their henching skills? I don't know.
You know what? It's Gotham. They probably have a henchman like speed dating thing where the villains go and sit down at a table and
they just cycle through the rogues gallery.
Nah, you're not mean enough. Like, how do you feel about freezing temperatures? Well, I used to live in the Bahamas. Get out of here. No,
sorry.
Move to the next table.
You can't be in my gang.
Right, exactly. So,
I mean, here's the thing, though, about this opening fight is the fight itself isn't actually terrible. I think you see it right out of the gate, lean into the campiness, the dialogue, the orchestration knows that this is not a serious movie. The sound design and even the sound effects that are used in no way leads you to believe that anybody is taking themselves seriously on this. I mean, if you just look at the costumes of the Freeze gang and the fact that Batman and Robin just click their heels together and the bat skates come out and they have bat skates. Why do they have bat skates?
Because again, keep in mind, they did not know what they were going to until Batman got the call while he was driving. They didn't know that there was going to be ice everywhere. He just randomly decided that, like, oh, we're going to need ice skates in our boots.
So they just build this extra 3 or 4 inch riser inside the boot in case they ever need to kick the skates out.
Right. Exactly.
What else do they have in there? Do they have inline skates in there too, just in case they run into a bunch of ramps or something like that and need to do a sick ollie or something?
Yeah, they literally, like you said, the sound effects in this fight. That's why I say this is like uh, channeling into Adam West because it might as well have the bam pow whap right on the screen. Because when they hit bad guys in this movie, it makes circus noises.
Yeah.
When Robin hits them with the stick, it acts like their heads are clunking together. Like there's not actual sound effects like punching and kicking. There's animated sound effects added to this movie during fights.
Yeah. And I did write down one freeze line that I just really wanted to share. So there's if you haven't seen the movie in a while, you may not remember that there's inside this museum, there's kind of a big fake tyrannosaur in there.
Yeah.
And he starts to freeze that and he says, "What killed the dinosaurs? The Ice Age." Now, I'm pretty sure that was a meteor, dude. I'm pretty sure that was not at all at the same time. Those were like millions of years apart.
But he was happy as hell to say that line too, because he says it normal. He says it normal to start. He says, "What killed the dinosaurs?" And then he gets happy as hell. The Ice Age. Like, he goes ballistic for it. It's unreal. But before
he woke up that morning to the shoot. Yeah. He could not wait to deliver that line. That was the one that he was waiting for all day.
Yeah. It's like the henchmen came back to the hideout and were like, "Boss, you know that museum we're going to go rob? There's a dinosaur in there. Oh, I'm ready for this." Like,
hold on, wait. I got something for this. Don't you worry, guys. Just wait.
Let me go to my Rolodex of ice puns. Let me look. Oh, got it. But even before that one, he gets 3 or 4 out before that Ice Age pun even hits, because he's got, "You're not sending me to the cooler." Something about your pleas of like, "My condition has left me cold to your pleas of mercy." He just fires them off every chance he can get. And speaking of, the sake of why is that there, Batman comes through. "Hey, Freeze, I'm Batman," which is the most lame. Go back and watch every single Batman movie. Every single one where the character says, "I'm Batman." This is the lamest introduction to Batman in any movie. He doesn't say it intimidating. He doesn't say it with any sort of like care in the world. He's like, "Hey, Freeze, yeah, I'm Batman. You can probably tell, right? Like, good, got it."
The cape, the cowl, kind of,
right.
The logo.
Right. So as they're fighting, Robin breaks through this. Robin breaks through this wall. Which why did you do that? Like, you just caused damage to the museum, but then Batman's worried about breaking a vase. He's like, "You break it, you bought it." Do you not see the hole in the side of this building that he just
the perfect Robin logo that he breaks in the wall somehow?
Right. Again, the Robin logo that ends up in the wall. Like, how does that happen? Again, it's just. It's and that's why I love it after all of these years, is because when I first saw it, it's like, why does that happen? Like, what is the point? And I still say that, but now I'm just like, well, who cares? Like, yeah, it's there.
And then they get in a rocket.
Right. They get
in a rocket. Freeze just shoots this rocket into space, pieces out, and instead of freezing Batman's whole body and face, just freezes the hands. Doesn't be like, "I should probably off you right now. Like, I should probably kill you." Nope, I'm just going to get out. And then they sky surf out of there. Yeah. Now, here's the thing. If my kids were playing with their action figures, right? So, like, my kids are in elementary school, and I have one in middle school. If they're playing with action figures, and they're like, "Hey, Dad, you want to play with us?" And I tried to recreate this scene of the movie with the action figures, they'd look at me and be like, "Dad, this is really dumb. What are you doing? Like, you can't play action figures with us anymore. This is insane. Like, what are you doing? Like, go play video games or something. Like, get out of here."
Yeah. And, don't forget, you just said, okay, he freezes Batman's hands instead of his whole body. Don't forget, in that shot where he's freezing Batman's hands, he waves that gun back and forth, and that beam is going both times. He would have froze his entire face. Like, that whole shot of Batman, he would have been frozen, but no, somehow it only freezes his hands. Like, okay, sure. Then like you said, they have They've got bat bombs. They're again too. They know like these of course, it has two exit doors on this spaceship so that they can use them as surfboards. And then Batman, Batman catches up to Freeze.
Just describing the actions of this movie make me laugh. Like just listening to the description of the movie, I'm dying.
The opening scene is literally like you took LSD. It's unbelievable. Then, not to mention, not only do they have ice skates, not only do they have bat bombs, but Batman's got a laser that heats up a pool because Robin tries to jump ahead and catch Freeze, and he gets frozen into an ice block. And, again, you have, 12, 11 minutes or something to thaw the boy out and everything like that. He gets in another ice pun, too. He gets in another ice pun in the rocket ship. I can't remember it, but he's got 9 in the opening scene of this movie. So they have every gadget. And again, it's toys. This is on record that they had to bring designs and it caused changes in the script and everything like that. But they have every gadget imaginable to them when any situation comes up. And then literally, folks, what we've just described is what? 15, 20 minutes into the movie.
If that. Yeah.
Like that whole scenario, that seems like that could be a movie itself. They meet Freeze, they fight, they go. The giant finale is for some reason Freeze trying to turn Gotham into a crater with a bomb that's going to drop back to Earth. Nope. That's the first 20 minutes. That's what they got.
I'm fairly certain that by the time you get to the end of this scene, that I have subtracted at least 5 or 6 IQ points off my total. Like it literally, it's so absurd and stupid. It actually made me dumber for having watched it. Matt, you probably know this better than I would. Has there ever been a time where a marketing tie-in, like toys or fast food or clothing or any kind of tie-in or studio interference actually made the movie better? Can you think of a single example where any of that actually fixed a movie that was headed to be awful? Or is literally every single time you hear about something like this, it's about a movie that is like a dumpster fire of a movie? Because that's kind of what it seems like. Can you think of anything else that had that much interference that actually came out okay, even or good?
The only one that I can really think of is honestly just based on the stories that I heard is Rogue One, because they reshot the last third of the movie because of creative differences. That's the only one I can think of, because you and I both love Rogue One. And that whole ending is completely redone from what was originally planned, because there's shots in the trailer that were not used, and you can tell where they decided, okay, we're gonna go with something different. But yeah, no, it never ends well at all, like ever. It just, these studios, it's like, why do you even hire people in the first place? Like, because you see these examples of just movies that are terrible because of studio interference, and nope, we don't want that. This is what we need. And again, I'm not saying that this would have been any better of a movie, but who knows? Who knows?
There's definitely not enough bones here of a good movie that you take away anything that was seen as a toy tie-in would have fixed it.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. So, you get through the introduction to Mr. Freeze. We get some arguments between Bruce and oh geez,
Dick.
Yeah, you get into an argument between those two about not trusting me, and it again that leads to a little bit of good dialogue between Bruce and Alfred about perhaps the truth is you don't trust anybody, and he tells him like. It's foreshadowing almost. He says, well, I trust you, Alfred. He's like, well, I'm not going to be here forever. And it gives Bruce like a pause there, like, oh, wow, you're not going to be like, yeah, you're not going to be there. It's almost like Bruce, like in that moment, was like, oh yeah, like Alfred, he doesn't even know that he's sick at this point, but like, oh crap, yeah, Alfred's going to die. Like that's something that's real.
Yeah, and prior to that is another one of those movie tropes that I never need to see ever again. And I'm talking about where a mentor and a mentee get into that. You don't trust me. Why don't you trust me? Kind of back and forth. I'm ready. No, you're not ready. I'll tell you when you're ready. You'll never say I'm ready. Like you've seen this scene 374 million times. And you already know that in most cases, what's going to happen is the mentee is going to disregard the mentor's rule on something, or they're going to be sidelined and they're going to decide to come back anyways. And the mentor is going to have to realize that, oh, it was time to let go a little bit and let the bird fly and, have its own wings and fly a bit and see what happens. And they end up saving the day. Like you can think of probably 75 TV shows or movies where that exact scene has happened. And I hate it every time because just once I would love something like that to happen where Batman says to Robin or a character like that, hey, you really screwed up in the field today. You know what, boss, you're right. I'm sorry. Can we run some training simulations on that exact scenario so I don't die the next time it happens?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. So they have their argument that goes on and we get introduced, way out in Brazil. They're doing experiments and funding research and things like that. We get introduced to Pam Isley, who will turn into Poison Ivy. And this is also where we get introduced to Bane. I mean, the mask is there, the size is there. He's green. I guess it makes sense because he's plant chemicals and venom that are going to help create him. But I want to talk really quick. And again, it's not serious, but the point of the doctor that's there as well. His name is Dr. Jason Woodrow, and the guy who plays him, I really wish I could remember his name because he plays Lex Luthor's father on Smallville, and I really like him a lot. I thought he was really, really good in that show. But he's going to create Bane. He's taking people who are in jail serving life sentences, and he's going to turn them into super soldiers, so to speak. And he's got the stereotypical bad guy leaders, like just lined up lined up
right
in
out
a
of
row.
Central Casting.
Yep, lined up out of a row. They went over to Spirit Halloween and bought their costumes for the movie. So they're lined up. They're lined up to watch this. And he says, "Oh, bidding is $10 million for this super soldier." Here's my question, though. Imagine your army of these super soldiers with immense strength. So what happens when they just get shot?
What happens when they run into a tank? The tank just rolls over them.
Because it's not like they're loading them with weapons or anything. Like the whole basis of this is like, oh, this guy's going to be super strong. Okay, well, I don't see anything like it's the weirdest concept of, well, that wouldn't work. Like all of those guys would walk out of there and just be like, no, like never. Like
yeah. His biceps are too big to even like hold a machine gun. Like he can't even close. He can't like put his arms down.
Yep. Like never mind. And then this guy goes to psychopath in 3 seconds because Isley rejects him. That you find out that Wayne Enterprises stopped funding this project because of all the craziness that was going on and his research and everything like that. And so she rejects him and says, like, I'd never help you. And he pushes her over in like the craziest scream ever because he doesn't handle rejection. Like it's literally what he says. But then, we get introduced to Poison Ivy, who, again, it makes sense for this universe. She gets pushed into the ground because the venom and all the toxins erode the earth, and she, what gets buried in the soil. Yeah, and let's not forget in what the one, two. I mean, there's 3 or 4 scenes where she's like the first scene where she comes back, she is super super sexualized. And then the benefit too, like she is overly sexualized when she's introduced as Poison Ivy.
Yeah, and that's kind of how the character's presented in a lot of different mediums, for better or for worse. If that's kind of your thing, fine. If that sort of thing offends you, yeah, I mean, sometimes it's a little over the top. You see this a lot, unfortunately, with female comic characters.
Well, it's weird because it's supposed to be a kids movie still. Like this is still like this is a movie designed to sell toys.
Sell toys, and there's some innuendos that are a little beyond just an innuendo. Like I watched part of this with my son in the room, and I was thinking to myself, I hope he doesn't ask me any questions on that one. Right. I kind of hope he just lets that one fly and doesn't ask me to explain what that means, because I don't know what I'm gonna look around for another adult in the room and hope that my wife thinks of something faster than I can. I think Freeze is presented about as well as you're going to present him in this style of movie. Poison Ivy, okay, sure, it works for what they're doing, but I hate what they do with Bane. Like I said before, Batman is a flexible character. You can tell a lot of different types of stories with Batman, depending on what you're trying to do. And you can choose different villains. I mean, even Joker. Like, Joker can be very campy. Joker can be maniacal. Just think of the different presentations of Joker we've seen. They've all been slightly different. You can do that with him. You can make him a complete sociopath, like he is presented most frequently in comics over the last several years, where he is terrifying. Just, you don't know what he's going to do. You don't know how much harm he's looking to cause at any one time, and he's terrifying. Bane, he's got the luchador mask, so okay, I guess he's the version of Bane. But that character is so much more frightening, so much more intimidating, so much more interesting in literally every other interpretation we've ever seen. Here, he's a glorified Frankenstein's monster. He's like part zombie, part, Frankenstein.
He's stupid. He can only repeat, he can literally only repeat the last thing that he hears.
It's such a waste of the character that, we get redemption of the character of Bane on screen in The Dark Knight Rises, but it's really disappointing, the decisions that were made with this.
Yeah, and again, like I can sit there and say, like, okay, I don't take this movie seriously. I get a lot of enjoyment out of it. Bane is like the one exception in this movie where I'm just like, you didn't really need him. Like, you really didn't.
Nope.
There's pretty much everything could have happened in this movie with the henchman being in the place of Bane. Like, seriously, like if you think about it, the whole scene where they go to break out Freeze, Bane can't break the wall down. Freeze just, he's again, ice pun, always winterize your pipes, and he breaks the wall because it freezes. You don't need Bane there. You don't need him there. I mean, you don't really need him in the warehouse scene where they find Freeze's lair, because you could have had them fight henchmen. There's
nobody buys henchman toys though.
Yeah, that's true. Like, you could take him out of this movie and you could still get from A to B with him. Especially because he goes out really, really bad. Like,
did you ever accidentally unplug your phone? Like, it happens all the time. Like, your phone's plugged in, you're charging it, and like you just kind of move your foot and you kind of forget like where you have it plugged in at your desk, and you accidentally knock it out.
Yep.
And that's pretty much what happens to his Venom hose. They just kind of kick it a little bit and it comes out. You're telling me at no point when he's thrashing through walls and stuff like that, like there's not like a stray brick that pulls the hose out? Like,
yeah,
this is stupid.
Yep. So, um, so she, Pam Isley kills the doctor. She's Poison Ivy now, and they reuse the same footage from Bane. They can't even be bothered to shoot additional footage for him. The scene where he's flexing and just, he growls and says Bane. They use the same shot back to back. Did you notice that?
No, but I did notice that they even pulled the old timey lightning sound effects from literally every mad scientist movie
Yep.
ever, like
Yeah.
ever throughout this
Yeah.
scene. It's just really, to me, this was confirmation. Again, haven't seen this movie in a while, but this was confirmation that in my mind, this movie just decided that it's going to push all its chips in on absurdity,
Yep.
just wackiness, just put it all in. That's where we're going to go. And we're going to cross our fingers and hope people like it. Shit, they hated it.
Yeah, no, and so yeah, they use the same footage to show Bane from earlier in the movie to this scene here when they're leaving. Also, too, I thought he's supposed to be some crazy super killer. How is he just controlled? Like, how does Poison Ivy just say like, "Oh, coming, Bane, darling," and then he's driving her around? Like,
Yeah.
that's never explained. How it's just like, oh,
How does he even fit in the driver's seat? He's like
right.
8 feet tall, about 500 pounds of solid muscle. How's he fit in the car?
Yeah, yeah. So, that's never explained. Okay, whatever. You get another love interest for Bruce in this movie who is even more uninteresting than the last one. At least in Batman Forever, you could kind of get behind. Like, I mean, whew. I mean, in Batman Forever, Nicole Kidman, she's thirsty for anything that's walking in that movie. She wants Bruce, she wants Batman, she might even wanted Commissioner Gordon off screen, for God's sakes, for all we know. But in this movie, this love, think about again, like where they go from. You go from Batman, and you have Vicky Vale. Okay, fine. Then you get Selena Kyle in Batman Returns. Pretty darn good. Actually believable. You get Nicole Kidman as Dr. Chase Meridian in Batman Forever. And then you get this girl who I think they mentioned her name once, right? I don't even remember the love interest's name in this movie.
If I didn't have it pulled up in front of me, I wouldn't be able to tell you that her name is Julie Madison.
Okay, because Bruce doesn't care because he calls her Ivy.
Yeah. I don't know why she's here. What value does she add?
And that's what I mean. Compared to the other three, at least there was value there. She's there for no reason. Literally none.
I mean, even the scene where the gossip columnist is asking him, when he's going to tie the knot or whatever, you don't need any of that. None of that is in any way important to the plot or the any part of this movie. There's nothing about having this character on screen that does anything for the story.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It does nothing. This is where you find out that they're gonna auction off the waned diamond because they're gonna use it to capture Freeze, to set a trap for him, because they find out, perfect, by the way, this university, the best security cam footage in the history of universities when Freeze falls into the cryo tank. It's even set with close-ups. Unbelievable security cam footage of what happens while he's
multiple angles, even.
Yeah, multiple angles. It's perfect. Everything that Batman and Robin could need to figure out who Mr. Freeze is. So they're gonna, if it's ice the Iceman wants, they're gonna give it to him. So they're gonna go to the Wayne auction. They're gonna auction off this diamond, and it's also how we get Poison Ivy from scene 1 to scene 2, because she's going to be there as well, because she literally goes up to Bruce Wayne like a psychotic, raving lunatic about plants and killing people. It's just, again, it's way out there and campy.
And he pulls out this giant invitation that's like an 8.5 by 11
Yeah.
size, just pulls it out of his jacket pocket and hands it to her.
Right. Why did you have that on you? Like,
Why? How many of those do you carry with you, just
Right.
in case a nut job like comes to
right.
like
Because who else
stalk
were you? Yeah. Who else were you giving that to? Like, so you get that. And this is one of, honestly, this is one of my favorite things ever in Batman for how crazy stupid it is when they're, first of all, not a good look. They're auctioning off women. I don't know if it came across, like, I don't know if they thought that one through all the way, because it's not it's not a good look that they're doing that. But then Poison Ivy comes down and you find out, oh, she, just like she's got her love potion that you watch her blow that right in Robin's face. And if you're Batman, you're supposed to be the world's greatest detective. She just blew this pixie dust right in Robin's face, and then she goes to turn to you. I'd be like, you should have closed that off immediately. Instead, they're hypnotized by her. And again, innuendos galore. You're going to hit the honeypot. I'll bring everything you see here and everything you don't. And she has to do a little, shake. But the funniest thing that happens in this movie is the fact that Batman has a credit card with its own sound effect. It has a cash register sound effect.
So I'm sitting watching this earlier tonight, and the thing that occurs to me at the start of this scene, when they've got the jungle dancers and everything going, this movie, if you took out all of the Batman and Robin scenes, like if you replace them with the character The Mask from the Jim Carrey movie The Mask, it would actually make a lot more sense. Like, this movie does not make sense as a Batman movie. This belongs as a Jim Carrey Mask movie. It actually works better that way, because it is so absurd, so over the top, so not grounded in reality. And you just can't take any part of it seriously. And I think that was the biggest problem that so many people had when they first saw this movie and maybe watched it again or watched it a second or third time, or just the legacy of this movie, is that you're not supposed to take it seriously. It's not designed to be that way. You will not have fun with this movie if you pretend that it's intended to be serious, because it's not.
Yeah, the Lego Batman movie is more serious than this interpretation of Batman.
100%.
Right. And, just as Batman and Robin are fighting over them, and, they're going back and forth with how much money they're going to bid on Poison Ivy. Robin's borrowed money from Batman, and then Batman pulls out his card, which, by the way, again, not only does it have its own sound effect, its expiration date is forever. So it says that on the card, expiration date forever.
When does he use that? Like, is he rolling through the drive-through of McDonald's in the Batmobile and just hands that over? Like, what's the point of that?
Right. Yeah. Right. Because Bruce Wayne is rich as hell. So why does Batman need his own credit card?
And what bank does that connect to? Where you have to put down your social security number, and you have to give them your driver's license when you open the account. Like, they have to approve you. They have to know your source of income. Like, name Batman. Income, I'm Batman. How does that even work? I know I'm not supposed to ask these questions, but it's it's too absurd not to.
Yeah. So, Mr. Freeze comes in, crashes the party, ends up taking the diamond anyway. Poison Ivy's like, ooh, we got to go find him because he can help me with my evil plan, which again, this big bad, supposed to be terrible henchman that's all hopped up on venom, is just Bane's over in the corner chilling in the monkey suit. Nobody recognizes him. Like, first of all, how does he fit in one of those? Because what other guy was dressing up in that suit that Bane took? Like, again, don't think about it. Don't try and make sense of it because they don't
Again,
care.
he's like 8 feet tall and he's at least 500 pounds.
Yep, exactly. So they're going to get that. And, this is, again, you get more tension between Batman and Robin because, they like Ivy. Then all of a sudden, and again, let's not forget more puns. Right then is when they capture Freeze, which, Batman again pisses Dick off because he disables the Robin cycle because he can't make the jump. Gets Freeze, which, by the way, when he's standing over Freeze and he lifts that cape up to show Freeze on the ground, which, how did he knock him out? Like, seriously. Like, how did he knock Freeze out and incapacitate him? Because last we saw, he dove through the window. So how Freeze is knocked out and Batman's not laying there with him, both of them with a concussion, I don't know.
It's the armor, I guess. It's
right, yeah. Yep.
The diamonds that power his armor, which that's never really explained. Like, what exactly do they do? So he just like gets a big chunk of these diamonds. He just kind of like dumps it in this little like gas tank in his armor, and
it somehow converts
exactly?
it somehow converts it to freeze spray, like to keep his body cold.
What about diamonds does that? Like, I'm confused.
Right. Yeah. So, he captures Freeze, which a terrible, terrible shot of a dummy. Like, you can tell that's not Schwarzenegger in that costume at all. And they capture Freeze. But as they're going and finding his lair and things like that, again, more puns like, oh, great stems though, nice buds too. Like, again, this is this is a kid's movie. This is a kid's movie designed to sell toys. And we all know what's, again, as an adult, we know what stems and buds means. We know what you're talking about.
And it's not even clever like the way Shrek does it. Like in Shrek, it's very cleverly written. Like the kids will think it's funny for one reason. The adults will find it funny for a very different reason. And the kids will never be suspicious. Right. This is not that level of double entendre.
No, not at all. So, of course, they find out that, Nora Freeze is still alive. Because how else would we get, towards one of the conflicts of the movie? Like we said, Alfred's got the same rare disease that's only affected, 2 people in the same city. But kind of a cool little callback. They are in Arkham. It's Arkham Asylum in this movie, right? Where they take Freeze.
It is. And for some reason, the lightning there is green, and I don't understand it.
Yep. So, they take him to Arkham Asylum, and in the evidence room, there's Jim Carrey's Riddler costume. There's Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face costume. I thought that was kind of cool. They show a couple different villains that have been in the movies. So I like that. But again, you got to get a pun in there. Allow me to break the ice, he says. And again, though, when Poison Ivy comes to see him, you got 2 cops. You watch them. The one cop watches her blow this pixie dust right in the other guy's face, and then just stands there and does nothing. Which, again, you got to suspend disbelief. Don't ask if it makes sense, because how do they survive that jump?
Plot armor.
Right, yeah, plot armor. Because it's, I mean, Rob, how far is that, literally, how far up was that cell?
Ooh, 50 feet, maybe?
Yeah, if not more. Like, that thing is up there. Like, because you can't even...
It's like Broken Bones height. Like,
right.
If not Broken Bones, you've demolished your ACL. Because like, you're not walking away from that.
Because you can't even see when the wall first blasts open because of freezing the pipes. you can't even see the rocks once they get down all the way to the bottom. Like as they're falling, you can see them and they just get smaller and smaller and smaller to the point where you cannot see them. The only reason you
Yeah.
know that they hit is because of the splash. Like that is,
Yeah.
it's such a huge drop.
Oh yeah, that's like 500 feet. Yeah, that what was I saying? 50 feet. Yeah, that's way further than that. Like, and that's the funny thing is like, there's so many things about movies that screw up people's understanding of physics and like real world things. Like, so many people don't actually know how firearms work because they've never actually used firearms. The only thing they know about firearms is from movies. So they think silencers just immediately turn ammunition that breaks the speed of sound into a little pew kind of noise. That's not what they are. Likewise, everybody just assumes that when you hit water, it's just like a giant airbag. Like
Right.
you can survive anything. Like, no, like at those speeds from that height, it's like hitting concrete.
And
Like,
I guarantee you,
die.
I guarantee you, Freeze's suit is not floating.
Oh no, too heavy, way too
Yeah.
heavy for that.
Like he's hitting the water and he's straight down. There's no way he's swimming in that suit. Absolutely none.
No.
But again, like don't take it serious. You can't think
It's
about
not intended to.
It's just it's so dumb. And then this is like this is where it gets even crazier. You get introduced to Barbara Gordon, who, I mean, come on. The fact that, and they throw it away with a stupid line of, Alfred says to, like, she shows up, and again, like, it takes 3 seconds for Dick Grayson to be oogling all over her because he's like, oh, please be for me. Like, and why? Like, again, like,
Because that's not a creepy way to introduce yourself.
right, exactly. So Bruce has no clue about this girl whatsoever. And the throwaway line to explain why he has no clue about this girl is, oh, well, secrets are a prerequisite in this house. Yeah, but you keeping
It
his
never would have
secret-
come up ever.
Right. You keeping his secret of being Batman is different than you just not telling this guy that you've been with for 40 years.
His whole life.
Right. Oh, by the way, I'd love to go see my granddaughter, for God's sakes. Like what? Not his granddaughter. It's his
niece.
His niece, right? But still,
Yeah.
like, oh, I want to go see my niece, and hey,
or I have a niece. Hey, I got a Christmas card from my niece. I need to send a birthday present to my niece.
Right. Like Bruce is getting those, like he's hiding those from Bruce when they're coming in the mail. Like Alfred, we get any mail today? Mind your business, Bruce. Like
it's so dumb. Like the whole decision to make Barbara Gordon not, the daughter of Commissioner Gordon and somehow have her related to Alfred. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's kind of dumb. It doesn't really make a lot of sense that at no other point would this character have come up, and that she's just mysterious and goes to school but doesn't go to school. Like she shows up with her school uniform on, even though she got kicked out. Like you never really know why she's there except to just visit, I guess, and then I guess break him out of his life that he's incredibly satisfied with.
Which
he's incredibly satisfied with.
Yeah, which by the way, not only does she catch up, like they make Bruce and Dick look like dicks because she shows up and 10 seconds later she's like, Alfred's sick. You're an idiot. Can't you see that? Like, how do you know? Because he doesn't put on at all around any of them that he's sick.
Yeah.
Like
it's just the whole thing just is, again, it's there to sell her action figure because she's not needed to this. And where are these plot points going? I don't understand it. Well, and so they have the whole motocross scene, which, man, those those paths that they have the race set up on, they've got some very impressive lighting effects. Like they've got, searchlights, and they've got some really well-timed pyro effects that go off for them. And somehow it's, there's no spectators there. Like, what are they doing this for? And if people aren't there to watch it, and the whole crew that's there are just obvious ripoffs of character designs from A Clockwork Orange or The Warriors. It's just obvious.
Yeah. And, again, we can't ask questions. Don't bother. Somehow she's made enough money from doing this that she's going to financially be able to provide for her and Alfred. Yeah. Like she's saved up more than enough money to take Alfred away.
Underground motorcycle racing. I mean, maybe a professional MotoGP, like you could do that. Like there's lots of people who do that. But underground racing, and then she's underground racing on a bike she's not familiar with.
Right.
She's good luck with that.
Yeah. And don't forget how strong, like, I don't know how Robin ever loses a fight, because if he's strong enough to hook his boot on that metal hook and hold her with one arm, like, and then he pulls her, like, again, they don't show you because logically it doesn't make sense, but then is able to pull her up. But before you get to that, Rob, I want to know if you notice it. And there's actually, like, if you go on YouTube and look it up, there's actually like a clip that shows you just how long it is in case you don't really understand it in the movie. When they sit there and they're like, oh, well, yeah, sure, she can stay at the, Bruce is like, she can stay at the house. And Alfred's like, well, I don't know if that's such a good idea. Like, that dialogue ends. And Rob, did you notice that scene actually goes uncut where they're just staring at each other for like a good 35 to 40 seconds? They're literally staring at each other. The dialogue is done. It's literally like somebody forgot to yell cut.
It's weird because in this movie, what characters actually have good chemistry with each other on screen?
Bruce and Alfred have those couple of scenes. Yeah. Seriously. Yep. Like actual, that's like it. if you're talking about actual chemistry where you're like, I'm invested in what is going on, it's Bruce and Alfred. I don't care about, Victor and his wife. I don't care about the partnership with Freeze and Ivy. When they find out that Ivy is using the two of them, and Bruce goes to Robin and says, look, her name's Pamela Isley. This is, what she's doing. She's turned us against each other. I don't care. I don't care. They don't have chemistry together. Even the line where he says, when you were talking to me before and you said sometimes, being part of a team is learning to, I can't even remember exactly what he says, but he's like, you weren't talking to me about being a team. You were talking to me about being a family. So I'm asking you, friend, partner, brother, will you trust me? I'm like, oh my God. Like, nothing matters. Nobody in this movie looks like they want to be doing this movie.
Well, so if you're a big time Hollywood star and your agent calls you and says, hey, you want to be in a Batman movie? You go, yeah, I want to be in a Batman movie. Like, I think what happened was everybody was so excited to be in a Batman movie that they didn't even bother to look at the script or ask any questions at all. They just, they said, here's your suit. All right. You put the bat suit on, you show up on set, you're all excited. And then you go, all right, so what am I saying? Hold on. Those are my lines?
Yep.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, it's too late to back out of this now. All right, fine, here we go. And just was totally bummed out about every single moment afterwards. That scene is terrible. It makes absolutely no sense. And if you know anything about the character of Bruce Wayne, if you know anything about, how he acts as Batman, that is not at all what he would have done. Like, he would have locked Robin in a cell and like decontaminated him and not allowed him out of there until he was not under the effects of this chemical. Like, he wouldn't have allowed him on the street fighting bad guys under the effects of this chemical. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah.
Oh, one thing we didn't talk about, Matt. This is 2 movies in a row where we have an appearance from Coolio.
Yes. Yes. Coolio.
Lest we forget that Coolio makes an appearance
Yeah.
in the bike scene.
Well, and this gang too. So, one thing that makes so not only does he make another appearance in a movie that we're watching, again, like a little callback to Batman Forever, the gang that's down in the whatever you want to call it, down in the tunnels that would eventually become Freeze and Ivy's lair, is the same gang from Batman Forever. It's
Ooh.
the same gang. The guys with all the the glow stick paint on their bodies and everything.
Oh
It's the
yeah,
same
because
gang.
there's a scene where when Dick Grayson steals the Batmobile, I think isn't that where he goes is where those guys are?
Yeah, yep. He goes. Yeah, he goes there, and yeah, that's the same gang. Not that it means anything, but I was like, oh, look at that. Like, okay,
It's
so
connecting to a movie that we don't need to connect it to because
right.
this is just terrible.
Yep, exactly. So, again, we find out, well, during the raid when they get Freeze, so they escape Freeze from prison, they go back to his hideout, get his suit back. Ivy pulls the plug on Nora Freeze. This is a one-woman show, which we'll get back to. Coming up here in a second. So he's not to mention that he can cry, which is totally which is totally unbelievable. And then it freezes, and then you see the little particle effect. So he's gonna freeze Gotham. Okay, he's gonna absolutely freeze it, and then somehow Ivy thinks that after he freezes Gotham, her plants are gonna be able to grow. Like, okay, and why would freeze? Like, I it doesn't make sense that he would go with Ivy. Again, don't make sense of it because she wants to kill everybody. She literally says, "Me and you will be the only people alive to raise plant children." Okay.
So what would they eat? How would they survive?
Right, exactly.
Would they eat the plants? Because it doesn't seem like she'd be okay with that.
Right. Right. So that gets you to, they're gonna use the telescope and all of these crystals that all of these diamonds that Freeze has stolen to freeze Gotham. But before we get there, we get Barbara, getting a CD from Alfred that says, "Give this to my brother Wilfred," because it's
Ooh, he doesn't know where he is, by the way.
right. I've been trying to contact him, but he's butler to a family that roams around on elephants. They don't have a home. They just they're royalty, but all they do is ride around on elephants, apparently.
He can't get him on the phone, but somehow he's got a laptop that'll play a CD-ROM.
Right, exactly. So he gives the disc to her and says, "Oh, which is so stupid because he's like, give this to my brother," but he fully expects her to find the Batcave anyway. Like, why not just say, "Take this disc, put it in. This will tell you everything that you need to know."
Alfred's got a really weak ass password too, by the way. I mean, it's only one uppercase character and the rest are lowercase. No letters, or I'm sorry, no numbers. Like no like special characters.
Also,
it would get rejected as too weak of a password.
Right, but also too, Rob, how many times are you able to enter the wrong password in before it boots you out? Because she tries that 8 times?
Yeah, and she tries the most obvious things ever.
It just access denied, access denied, access denied. Well, guess what? You're never gonna find out who Batman and Robin are because,
this thing's locked out.
Yeah, it should have locked you out completely. But nope, she finds it. Peg.
Why does he even send this thing in the first place?
Right.
I mean, let's think about it. If he keels over and his intention is to have his brother, I guess, be the new Alfred, is maybe what he's trying to do? Like, is he trying to recruit his brother to replace him? Like, that part's never really fleshed out exactly why he's sending this. But wouldn't it have been simpler, instead of risking multi-million-dollar secrets and major secrets about the identities of Batman and Robin? Wouldn't it have been easier just to say, "Hey, family emergency, I need you in Gotham," and you find out Alfred's dead, and Bruce recruits him to work for him. And then he just says, oh, and by the way, I'm Batman. Here's your computer. It's got everything on it you need already. Why does he send the CD? Like, I don't
Yeah.
understand that.
Well, also, too, I mean, his brother's old as hell, too. So how much longer does he have?
Unless the McGregor's disease is genetic and somehow he's going to get it too.
Right. Like, but again, don't make sense of it. Don't ask questions. Just enjoy the absolute lunacy of this movie. So Robin shows up, confronts Ivy. Tell me your plan, and I'll kiss you. The evil villain monologue before they're gonna enact their grand plan. And what again? The whole movie is stupid and hysterical, but she kisses him, and she's like, "Oh, it's time to die, little Robin." He takes off the rubber lips right in front of her and is like, oh, guess what? Rubber lips are immune to your charms. What is stopping her from just grabbing him by the face and kissing him again and being like, see you later, dumbass?
Yeah, and why doesn't he just like bat cuff her at that point?
Right.
Like, instead of having all this other stuff go on, why take that element of surprise away? I don't know. Again, you're not supposed to try to make sense of this movie. Nope. It's just dumb. Just go with it.
And, so we get, so she goes to run away. She pushes Robin into the, I don't know, water with the piranha plants and everything like that. Batman comes in. Even she's got her puns. My vines have a crush on you. She doesn't want to be upstaged by Freeze. But then we get the introduction to Batwoman. And their fight scene is horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And again, she sits there, and of course she's got to say it, because it's going to come up later in the movie. She talks about how I, as I told Lady Freeze when I pulled her plug, this is a one-woman show. No reason to say that other than it's got to show up later in the movie. She kicks her back into her giant piranha plant throne that then closes on her. Isn't she in control of these plants?
Wasn't she just sitting on it 20 minutes ago?
Right. But she's okay. She's incapacitated, and the city is already freezing. And again, they don't recognize that it's Barbara. Like you would notice it's her in 3 seconds for the two of them.
Yep.
So, okay.
Can we also talk about why did Alfred design tactical boots with heels?
Right.
I'm pretty sure that puts you at a disadvantage in climbing, in fighting, in running, driving, literally every situation imaginable. Having heels on your boots is not a good idea at all. Like at all.
No, not at all. So at this point, Freeze has started his freezing gun from the Gotham Observatory telescope. He started to freeze the city. And, they make the joke like, oh, she knows her identities. We got to get those locks changed. Now we'll have to kill her. Oh, we'll kill her later. We got to stop bad guys. But not before they have to, go get the next toy. And
quick wardrobe change.
Yeah, they change their costumes to, this black and silver gray, because their costumes are never really like truly black in this movie. There's like shades of blue in them, but I will say one thing. The outfits look kind of cool. Like, I actually like Batman's, like, this black and silver costume. I actually think it looks kind of cool. But and they have these they have new ice vehicles. They had these things ready to go. And Alfred made one for Barbara in mind. They knew that at one point the city would be frozen and they would need these vehicles. They knew it.
They'd need 3 of them, specifically right. 3 of them.
Specifically 3 of them that they use, again, for no other reason than to sell toys for this movie, because they literally use them for 2 minutes. Like these vehicles are on screen for 2 minutes.
And they're completely useless if there's parts of the road that didn't freeze over all the way. Like,
Right.
just use your
Yep.
Batcopter. It'd be
Yeah.
way easier.
Yep.
And if you run into an ice dam, the copter doesn't
Yeah.
care.
Yeah. Which they also say, when they first get there, they're like, "Oh, we have 11 minutes to thaw the city," but they didn't care.
They took at least 11 minutes to go home and change outfits.
Right. It's okay. Now we're in a hurry. You get this. I say the climax of the movie where they're gonna fight. They're gonna try and stop the city. And again, no, it's not even like the fights in this are good. They're just not. They're not well choreographed. They're really
Nope.
like, if you actually look at the fights in this movie, they're quick. They are over and done with in just the blink of an eye. It's literally a punch, a kick, another punch, a kick, fight's done. That's it.
Our heroes are never really in danger. There's very little storytelling through the fight. You never get presented with anything interesting or unique that we've never seen before. We don't really have any good gadget play where Batman and Robin have to find a unique way to use a tool to get out of a bad situation. Those are some of the core Batman things we love, and we don't get any of it.
Nope, not at all. You don't get that. So, but before this movie is done, Batman says, "You know what? You guys have been having too much fun, way too much fun, because I'm going to get you. I'm going to get you with a pun of my own." And Freeze, the heat is on, and he knocks him out with an uppercut. But even Batman's not above puns in this movie.
And here's the thing: is like, I just finished watching this movie maybe 45 minutes before we went on the air. I couldn't even tell you how he knocks him out, like how he finishes off Freeze. Like it meant that little to me that I didn't even remember how it happened.
Yep. Yeah. So they, of course, they save the city. He knocks out Freeze, and then a rousing speech from Batman. And hey, let's remember, I said it's going to come back. It's going to come back in the movie. He was hanging upside down, mind you, when this was going on. Okay, hanging upside down in those plants. He somehow gets the exact angle of Ivy telling Batwoman that she's the one who pulled the plug on Nora Freeze.
Does he just have a GoPro like stationed everywhere he goes to fight that he just then somehow downloads to his little, I don't know, bat widget or whatever that thing is?
Yeah, he has to. It's 100%. That's what has to happen. So, a heartfelt speech to Freeze, help me cure McGregor syndrome stage 1, because of course Alfred hasn't passed stage 1, and he found a cure for it. And yeah, the likeliest of places, Freeze keeps the antidote or the cure right in his suit, not thinking maybe one day those could break. What would happen? Maybe they should be in a safer place. Nope. Like,
right in the forearm.
Yeah, right in his forearm. So they go home. They, stick the cure in. Alfred is, cured, and it's supposed to be a really feel good moment. And I don't know, it's not really, because maybe if it would have just been Bruce and Alfred, maybe it would have stuck more. But you're looking at these two you're looking at Chris O'Donnell and Alicia Silverstone, these two goofballs. And you're just like, all right, Alfred's alive, whatever. Like serious, like at the end, I don't really like that because of the fact I like him. Like, I like this version of Alfred. I did, and I thought the scenes with him and Bruce worked well. But by the time he gets cured, it was just like, okay, like, I don't know. Like, I just didn't feel anything for it, because everything before that is like, you're not supposed to take anything seriously. Like, there is a minute and a half of serious dialogue in this movie that they want you to care about.
And it's delivered poorly and written terribly.
Right. So movie ends, how a lot of, these what these Batman movies had started to end like. Batman Forever ended with Batman and Robin running at the camera. This movie ends with all three of them running at the camera, and you're hey, you're get excited because there's gonna be another one. We're gonna bring you another Batman movie. It's gonna have three people in it. Oh boy, look out! Yeah, well, yeah, people looked out all right. They looked out to find another movie to watch when this came out.
Imagine, because that end scene, the way it's shot, it actually is kind of cool. If it was in a better movie,
right? Yeah, absolutely.
Like,
so go ahead.
I was gonna say, I would be actually excited to see a 3-person team up movie if I actually cared about any of them in the first place. I mean, think about it. We have so many examples of Batman comics, TV shows, movies, video games. We almost never have Batman and Robin together. I mean, it's been years since they've really worked closely together in the comics. I mean, there was a little bit of a run where, Batman had like a whole team, and Red Robin was kind of leading that team and stuff like that. And then they did that for a few months and then kind of got away from it. But, he's been solo for so long that he never really does team up. And then there's times where the whole Bat family comes together and there's a lot of animosity and hurt feelings and things like that. There's some love for Bruce, but there's all these other subtones and things like that. This was really a cool opportunity to see Batman and Robin working together, and we don't normally get it. And I sort of liked that we got a little bit of it because parts of it kind of work a bit. And to think about the Bat family starting and what that could have been, it was actually really cool to think about if I cared that it was going to happen. They canceled the sequel to this movie, and I think that was a great idea.
Yeah. So that's what I want to talk about in the last segment. I want to bring up a couple of those things about what was originally talked about with this movie. But before we do that, this movie, like I said, I mean, we're running through this movie and we're, not saying really anything nice about it. And it might not, it might not depict how I actually feel, because as a Batman movie, if you stop for 2 seconds and take this as a serious Batman film, you're going to be pissed. And that's what happened.
You're going to have a bad time.
Yeah. That's what happened when I saw this movie in the theaters. Like, I didn't think Batman Forever, even back then, like I was, young. I didn't think it was this great movie, but I was like, okay, like there's still actually some good things about Batman Forever. I still think some of that actually works. And then you went and saw this one, and it was just like, wow, like I don't know, like this isn't what I want to see. Like, even back then, I knew this is not what I wanted to see for a Batman film. Now that I can sit there and go back and just watch this and go, you know what? Yeah, everybody's admitted that they just wanted to make something like, Schumacher famously, Michael Keaton said he left because he didn't come back for Batman Forever, because with his sit down with Joel Schumacher, what turned him off was like Schumacher right out saying, like, why does everything have to be so dark and gritty? Like, why can't Batman be fun and colorful? And he was like, I'm out. Never mind. I definitely don't want to do this.
And it turned out to be the right decision, because who are they bringing back for Flashpoint? The Michael Keaton version of Batman.
I mean, he's set to, from everything I'm hearing, he's set to be like the Nick Fury of the DCEU going forward. Like,
because not only is he going to be in Flash, he's rumored to be in Batgirl as well.
No, he's in Batgirl. Like, it's not a rumor. He's 100% in Batgirl. Like, he's like, yeah, he's in that. He's in it. So yeah, that's not a rumor. That's confirmed that he's in there. But this movie, again, you go in, it's lighthearted. I can watch this a lot and now with different views on movies and things like that, I can really enjoy this. Um, but in turn, like, again, for the ending of this segment, Rob, we usually talk about favorite characters, least favorite characters, favorite scenes, everything like that. It's this whole movie to me is like, when you look at it in the context of how we're talking about it, the whole thing is literally like one favorite scene to me because it's all just so stupid and goofy that I just have a blast. Like, not one thing to me sticks out more than the other in terms of, holy cow, this is absolutely bonkers and ridiculous. But anything that you want to say to that?
I think the opening action scene would maybe, if I have to pick a favorite scene, it's probably that, because it sets the stage for how goofy and just absolutely out of its mind this movie is going to be. You don't get too much terrible dialogue yet. You haven't gotten worn down by the absurdity of the movie by that point. And again, if you approach this movie, like you said, with the right frame of mind, you can probably enjoy some of it. It is not a good movie at all. Don't get me wrong, but it is.
No.
If I have to pick a favorite scene, it's, I guess I'd say that opening.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, yeah, that's, it's kind of interesting, but yeah, I mean, it tells you right from the beginning what you should expect from this movie. So moving on, because I find this really kind of interesting. Moving on to roll credits, last segment of the show, where we're going to get into anything interesting about this movie. And we brushed on it, made to sell toys, any designs that they had for costumes, gadgets had to be sent in to the studio so that they could make toys and approve it before they could actually start. So they had to build a model and then send that model to the toy maker, and then they would decide if they want it. If they didn't, they'd have to come up with a whole new design, and only once it was approved were they able to build an actual on scale model for the set. So there was a lot of problems with that caused a lot. But the really interesting thing that I think with maybe potentially doing another movie was, it was going to be called Batman Unchained. And Rob, did you ever actually read like what the idea was from Schumacher for this fifth film?
A long time ago.
So, and again, this is all on record. So this isn't rumor. Like, this is all on record. This is what he wanted to do with the fifth one. So called Batman Unchained. Okay. Scarecrow was going to be the main villain. Harley Quinn was also going to be a part of this, but she wasn't going to be the traditional Harley Quinn. Harley Quinn was going to be the Joker's daughter, who was going to kill Batman, avenging her, but not any Joker. This was going to be, what's his name? Jack Nicholson's Joker, who would have returned for this movie as a hallucination because of Scarecrow's fear toxin. I'm not
wow,
saying
that's dumb.
I'm not saying it would be good. It's interesting though, because Schumacher's going against what he did in the previous two movies. As he was getting lighter and lighter and campier, this was definitely going in a different direction. They even talked to Nicolas Cage about being Scarecrow in this movie.
See, that I could see a version of Nick Cage as Scarecrow. I think, like I said earlier, there's certain characters that work with more of a campier feel. Like, you can do Calendar Man, right, as a campier character. Like, you can do, isn't there a Condiment Man, I think?
Yeah.
That's like fights with ketchup and mustard and stuff like that. Like, you can do those guys. You can even do versions of the Joker. I really struggle to think how you actually do Scarecrow as anything other than dark. Like, that's one right. That's tough. Harley Quinn, that's a tough one to do without some darkness. I know the Margot Robbie version of the character has a lot of kind of goofiness and a little bit of silliness, but there's still like real darkness there too.
Yeah.
particularly in the abusiveness of her relationship with Joker in Suicide Squad. Like,
Oh, and her mental
it's
health is
really
not there.
no, no, not at all. And I don't see how you can get those characters in this world that Schumacher created and have it work. I think it would just be terrible. Like, sure, like I think Poison Ivy works. I think Freeze works for that. Like Penguin, he's kind of silly. Like that's kind of a goofy character, right?
Yeah,
Like you could do that here.
Penguin feels like he was made for
Yeah,
Schumacher's version.
yeah. Riddler the same way, and I think that's why the third film, Batman Forever, kind of worked. I mean, I'm not saying it worked, but it kind of worked.
Yeah,
You can do
it
Two
works. It
Face either
works.
way.
It works better than this, like for
Yes,
sure.
much better, much
You
better.
know,
But Bane, I don't think works. Harley Quinn,
no.
I don't think works in camp. Scarecrow, I don't think works in this kind of environment. I think you save those for when you're doing a darker film.
Yep. So that got passed over. This was right around the time too. They were considering a live action version of Batman Beyond, and then Schumacher actually reapproached them to do Batman Year One. Um, there
Oh
was
God,
interest.
no.
Yeah, there was interest in it. But this went through so much. Like so that got scrapped. Then there was they were going to do Batman Dark Knight. That was talking about that. It was going to follow mostly the Dark Knight Returns, but Jonathan Crane was also going to be in that one. They were going to use him in there. Man Bat was also considered for that movie. So there were so many interpretations of what they were trying to do that never ever got off. They also had really maybe considered a Robin spinoff. I don't know how that would have ever worked, especially with Chris O'Donnell, because he's terrible.
The only way that works is if you're doing a Titans movie.
Yep. Yeah.
He's just not interesting enough on his own, unfortunately.
Yep. So there were a lot of interpretations that they tried to do. Even in this time frame, before we got Batman Begins, there was a pitch for Batman versus Superman. Way back when that
Versus or V?
no versus.
Oh, so it would have been like actually like it would have had a chance to be good.
Yep. Yep. Yes, absolutely. But yeah, they so actually the script was for that actually focused on Bruce Wayne having a mental breakdown after retiring. Yeah, it actually, some of it sounds interesting. Dick, Alfred, Dick Grayson, Alfred, Commissioner Gordon, they're all dead. Okay. Clark is struggling also because he's divorced from Lois. They've already like Clark and Bruce actually are best friends. They know each other, they know of each other. But there's actually some interesting stuff there. And actually, what's really crazy about this is Christian Bale was offered Batman in this movie, and Josh Hartnett, which get the hell out of here, was offered to play Superman.
Hard pass.
Yeah, absolutely. So somewhat interesting though, with him being like broken down, people have been dead, Superman, Clark is divorced, maybe some interesting stuff there. So really interesting. None of that, as we know, came to fruition. We ended up getting Batman Begins, and the rest is history.
I think it's interesting when you try to adapt something that is well known already. The origin stories are well known, the relationships between the characters are well known, and now you have to put it on screen. And you have to walk the line between fan service, giving the fans what they want, but still giving them something they don't expect, and giving them something that gives them kind of a new spin on the character. And if you go too far one way or the other, you really run into some issues. I mean, just even thinking about speaking about Batman, thinking about the way Zack Snyder presented him, and that his Batman does kill, and thinking about how that sits with fans, and thinking about the Robin suit that's in his Bat cave that says "Ha ha ha Batman" on it, and it's got obvious bullet holes in it, and he came out and said that was Dick Grayson. It wasn't Jason Todd, and that's who Joker kills with a crowbar, is Jason Todd, and we the fans know that. And there was people who had a reaction to that. The Wayne Manor is kind of burned out. It's a husk of itself. That's fans had a reaction to that. It's very peculiar, and I don't envy anybody who tries to adapt these things, because you're never really going to please all the fans all the time. Unless you're Kevin Feige, in which case you pretty much just you've got the Midas touch. Like it doesn't seem to matter. People just love it. Outside of that, it's really hard to adapt things that people know and know well and know inside and out.
Yeah, absolutely. This movie also is the lowest grossing movie of all live action Batman movies. Terrible reviews, but like horrible. I mean, it literally killed the franchise for a long time, where people didn't think they'd be able to get another Batman movie. So with all of that being said, and us breaking this movie down, Rob, I think it's time for my second hot take of this, but I'm going to let you go first. I'm going to let you go first, because we're going to talk about the reel system. And, that's a very simple scale that we do here at Matt Goes to the Movies. 1 reels through 5. How much do you like this movie? What's the rating that you give it?
And this is actually very challenging, because a watchability ranking, like we've talked about, is different than an actual real rating. Does this movie accomplish what it tries to do? It's goofy, it's silly, it's absurd, it's not to be taken seriously, and you don't really understand that the first time you watch it. So, kind of with the lens of time and the lens of just taking it for what it is. If you would have asked me what my real rating would have been of this movie a year ago, I would have been like, can I give it negative? I'm not there anymore with it. I don't want to say my opinion of the movie has improved. I just think I maybe have a better understanding of what to expect from it. So I suppose I've lowered my expectations for this movie. It's not something I see myself watching with frequency. It's easily been 12 years or more since I've seen this movie. Maybe, it's been a long time. It's maybe been 15 years since I've seen this movie on purpose. I struggle to think about the next time I would watch this again. What are the circumstances that I watch this movie again? Is it just like, I'm 5/6 of the way through a 6-pack, and I'm looking for something like I don't have to pay attention to. Like, I don't want to watch something new that I would actually be disappointed if I miss something on, and I'm just going to have a laugh. Maybe, I don't know. I might find something else. Getting right to it. It's hard to assign this movie anything more than a single reel. It's so bad on so many levels. For me, it fails to be compelling. It succeeds at being absurd, but that's not what I want. I don't want an absurd Batman movie. I want movies to make sense. I want scenes to make sense. I want characters to be compelling, and I want a movie to make me care about them and what happens to them. And this movie fails at that. So I would still rather watch this than Daredevil. I was actually kind of looking forward to my rewatch of this, to be honest. Whereas with Daredevil, I was not at all looking forward to it. I was like, okay, got to get this over with. It's almost like going into my doctor for my annual physical. Okay, let's get this over with, So it's a single reel. It's hard. It's hard to give it much more credit than that. That might be fairly generous, even giving it a reel, but that's where I'm at.
All right. Well, here it comes.
Oh boy. I'm
This
bracing.
movie is absolutely 100% a solid 4 for me.
Whoo!
This is it,
Whoo!
and the
Hot
reason
take.
and the reason it's not a 5 is because it does have that glimmer where it has to try and have some serious content in it. And again, at this point in my life and over time, I just love that this thing is an absolute piece of crap. It is. It is. I have more than enough good Batman content at my disposal to sit here and watch this movie. And I think some of it too, I mentioned it earlier, Rob, is the fact that nobody that's involved with this project tries to make excuses for it anymore. I think the fact that everybody, again, just admits, like, yes, this sucks. We're sorry. Do what, say what you will about it. We're not going to put up any argument and try and say that this is good. Gives me an appreciation for this. So this is something, honestly, I do watch, like, I shouldn't say quite regularly, but I have put this on in the past 2 years, a minimum of 3 times, plus this rewatch.
Wow.
So I will watch this, get enjoyment of it. Again, this is something like this is one of those movies that if I don't want to watch something new, like going to bed or whatever at the end of the night, there are times when I will, like, if I throw on HBO Max and this thing comes up and like suggested for you, that might be a mistake because I might actually click on this again and watch it. So I give this movie a 4. I actually really enjoy it now. Like I said, at this stage of my life, I get a blast watching this movie. So it is not Daredevil. It's certainly not even some of the other movies that are going to be covered here as we're wrapping up comic book month in January. This is one of those so bad it is good. And I think a lot of people now are in that same boat where they've had time to forgive and forget. Like I said, time heals all wounds. And it certainly did that for me with this movie.
This movie is kind of this is patient zero for movies that are so bad they're good. Daredevil was not a movie that understood that it was a bad movie. It was a bad movie masquerading as a good movie that just didn't have the awareness. It didn't have the awareness to know that it was a bad movie. This movie kind of knows it's a bad movie. Like it's, this is one of those ones, like everybody's kind of got like that asshole friend and you'll have your girlfriend or your wife will be like, hey, why do you hang out with that person? He's kind of an asshole. He's my asshole. Like this movie knows it's a bad movie, like, but it's our bad movie. And it doesn't try to be anything that it's not. It knows it. And it's that absolute poster child for so bad that it's good. It's probably like if you tried to explain that to somebody who didn't really understand the concept, this would be kind of the first movie you'd think of and say, yeah, this is one of those.
Yeah, fully agree. So that is going to end this review of Batman and Robin. But before we go, there's still a lot more coming up on Matt Goes to the Movies for the month of January. We still have Spawn, Green Lantern, and Ghost Rider to get through. So some interesting ones still to come. Here at Matt Goes to the Movies. But before we sign off, Rob, I always want to give you a chance. Talk about what you have recently added to the show. I'll let you go from there.
Yeah. So my brother and I do a spin-off show of the main continuity here at MGTTM, and we call it the EPU, the Extended Podcast Universe. And we like to focus on films that have had long-term lasting impacts on us across our lives. And we celebrate the great characters, we celebrate the great lines, and we celebrate the great music that's used throughout it. We just recently released an episode on the Boondock Saints, which was a lot of fun to do. It's our first episode back in a while because we'd both been somewhat busy. I was still recovering from COVID and just said, "Hey, let's do this. It'll give me something to look forward to." And so we've got some plans about what we want to do next. We're hoping to put something together fairly soon, because after this month of having to watch The Matrix 4 twice, having to watch Daredevil again, and then watch this movie, I am definitely looking for a palate cleanser. So I think we're probably going to be trying to put something together fairly soon. But one of the things that my brother has done for the EPU is he's created playlists that he's curated based on each of the films that we have reviewed. And those are really a lot of fun. It's highlights of the best songs from the movie and a lot of other things that sort of just fit that overall feel and sound. And it's one of those things that you'll listen to one of these playlists and immediately feel like you want to watch the movie that it's associated with. So we certainly appreciate anybody who's checked that out. And we would appreciate any reviews that you might leave for any of the EPU shows or the main shows here at Matt Goes to the Movies. You can do that at podchaser.com. 5 stars are always appreciated, but honest reviews are really what we're looking for. And actual comments. You can leave a review. It doesn't have to have a comment, but certainly leaving a comment as well. Lets us know that what you liked, and if you agree as well. By the way, leave comments on this episode. Is this movie so bad that it's good? Is it actually good? Is it just really terrible? Do you think Daredevil is so bad that it's good? Because I think it's just terrible. Do you have a favorite so bad that it's good movie? Please share that with us. We would love to hear any and all of that feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll say it again. Insanely jealous of the Boondock Saints review. Absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved that movie. So, like Rob said, listeners, continue. Go to Podchaser, search Matt Goes to the Movies, leave a review for the show as a whole, individual episodes. It really, really helps getting the feedback. Go to the Facebook page. There's 2 versions of the Facebook page. There is one that is strictly just it posts all of the the episodes that we have done. Also will have some posts about things that are upcoming. And then there's a group Facebook page, which consists of like polls and things like that. So 2 different versions of the Facebook page. You can interact with either one. There's Instagram, there's TikTok. And there's always the email, which is just the show's initials, mgttmpodcast@gmail.com. Leave an email, what you'd like to see on the show, what you like, what you don't. Feedback's always, always appreciated. So plenty more to come here for the end of January before we move on to February. I'm not going to reveal it yet, but right at the beginning of the month, something different coming your way at Matt Goes to the Movies. I'm really excited about it. I will drop that information on the next episode, which will be coming out a week from today, actually. So really excited for what's coming in February. Again, getting a couple things situated before I drop that information. So be on the lookout for that. Hit subscribe, get all the latest episodes. And once again, thanks for listening to Matt Goes to the Movies. Catch you next time.